From ancient prophecies to modern-day blockbusters, humanity has long been captivated by the idea of its own demise. The concept of the end of the world has been a recurring theme in our stories, myths, and legends. Whether it's the ancient Mayan calendar predicting a cataclysmic event or Hollywood's latest disaster film, the notion of an impending apocalypse has always intrigued us. We are drawn to stories of catastrophic events that reshape the world as we know it. These narratives often depict scenarios where society collapses, cities are destroyed, and chaos reigns supreme. They tap into our deepest fears and anxieties, forcing us to confront the fragility of our existence. Perhaps it is our innate awareness of our own mortality, or maybe it's the thrill of contemplating the unknown. The end of the world represents the ultimate mystery, a puzzle that we can never fully solve. It challenges us to think about our place in the universe and the legacy we will leave behind. Whatever the reason, the end of the world, as we know it, holds a powerful sway over our collective imagination. It has inspired countless books, movies, and TV shows, each offering a unique vision of how our world might come to an end. These stories serve as a mirror, reflecting our hopes, fears, and aspirations. But what if these apocalyptic visions were more than just the stuff of fiction? What if they were grounded in scientific reality? As we delve deeper into the mysteries of our planet and the universe, we uncover evidence that suggests our world is more vulnerable than we might think. What if they were grounded in scientific reality? Scientists and researchers are constantly studying the various threats that could potentially lead to global catastrophe. Their findings often reveal unsettling truths about the state of our planet and the dangers we face. The truth is, our planet and our species face a range of very real threats, each with the potential to bring about profound and irreversible change. Climate change, deforestation, and loss of biodiversity are just a few of the environmental challenges that could have devastating consequences for our world. These threats are not figments of our imagination. They are based on scientific evidence and are being observed in real time. The impacts of climate change, for example, are already being felt around the globe with rising temperatures, extreme weather events, and shifting ecosystems. They are not the products of superstition or fear-mongering. Instead, they are grounded in rigorous scientific research and analysis. Scientists use data and models to predict future scenarios and assess the risks we face. They are instead grounded in scientific evidence and driven by forces both natural and man-made. Human activities such as industrial pollution, deforestation, and the burning of fossil fuels are accelerating these changes and increasing the likelihood of catastrophic events. From the relentless advance of climate change, which threatens to alter weather patterns, melt ice caps, and raise sea levels, to the ever-present danger of nuclear war, which could unleash unprecedented destruction and loss of life, the potential for global catastrophe is a sobering reality of our time. These threats are not confined to the realm of fiction. They are real and present dangers that require our immediate attention. It is easy to feel overwhelmed by the scale and complexity of these challenges, but we must resist the urge to succumb to despair. Instead of feeling powerless, we must recognize that we have the ability to make a difference. Instead, we must confront these threats head-on, armed with knowledge, driven by innovation, and united by a shared commitment to safeguarding our planet for future generations. By working together, we can develop solutions to mitigate these risks and build a more resilient and sustainable future. The end of the world may be a captivating idea, but it is our actions today that will determine the fate of our planet.
One of the most pressing threats to our planet is the ongoing crisis of climate change. This phenomenon is not just a future concern, it is a present-day reality that is reshaping our world in profound ways. Driven by human activity, primarily the burning of fossil fuels, our planet is warming at an alarming rate. The Industrial Revolution marked the beginning of this trend, and our continued reliance on coal, oil, and natural gas has only exacerbated the problem. This warming is already having a cascade of effects, from rising sea levels to more extreme weather events. Coastal cities are experiencing more frequent flooding, and hurricanes are becoming more intense and destructive. The science is clear. The continued burning of fossil fuels is releasing greenhouse gases into our atmosphere, trapping heat and causing Earth's temperature to rise. These gases, including carbon dioxide and methane, create a blanket around the planet, preventing heat from escaping into space. The consequences of this warming are far-reaching, impacting every corner of the globe. From the Arctic to the equator, no region is immune to the effects of climate change. Ecosystems are being disrupted, and species are being forced to adapt or face extinction. Rising sea levels threaten coastal communities, while droughts and heat waves intensify, putting stress on agriculture and water resources. Farmers are struggling to grow crops in increasingly hostile conditions, and water shortages are becoming more common. The effects of climate change are not limited to the distant future. They are already being felt today. In recent years, we have seen a surge in extreme weather events, from record-breaking heat waves to unprecedented wildfires. From more powerful hurricanes to devastating wildfires, the fingerprints of climate change are evident in the increasing frequency and intensity of extreme weather events. These disasters leave a trail of destruction in their wake, affecting millions of lives. These events not only cause immediate devastation, but also disrupt economies, displace populations, and strain resources. The financial cost of rebuilding after such disasters is enormous, and the human cost is even greater. Addressing climate change requires a global effort to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. International cooperation is essential, as no single country can tackle this issue alone. Policies must be enacted to limit emissions and promote sustainable practices. This means transitioning away from fossil fuels and investing in renewable energy sources like solar and wind power. These technologies have the potential to provide clean, sustainable energy for the future. It also means adopting sustainable practices in agriculture, transportation, and other sectors. Sustainable farming techniques can help reduce the carbon footprint of food production, while public transportation and eco-friendly urban planning can reduce emissions from cities. The challenge is immense, but the stakes are too high to ignore. Every individual, community, and nation has a role to play in combating climate change. By working together, we can create a more sustainable and resilient future for generations to come.
The specter of nuclear war has haunted humanity since the dawn of the atomic age. The destructive power of these weapons is almost unfathomable, capable of obliterating entire cities in an instant. But the immediate devastation of a nuclear explosion is only the beginning of the story. In the aftermath of a nuclear detonation, massive amounts of dust and debris would be lofted into the atmosphere. This would block out the sun, plunging the planet into a state of perpetual twilight known as nuclear winter. Temperatures would plummet, crops would fail, and ecosystems would collapse. The long-term effects of nuclear war would be equally devastating. Radioactive fallout would contaminate vast areas, rendering them uninhabitable for generations. The genetic damage caused by radiation would have lasting consequences for human health. The very fabric of civilization would be torn apart. The threat of nuclear war may seem like a relic of the Cold War, but the danger is still very real. Thousands of nuclear weapons remain on high alert, ready to be launched at a moment's notice. The potential for accidental launch, miscalculation, or escalation of tensions remains a constant threat.
While we grapple with threats of our own making, such as climate change, political instability, and pandemics, we are also vulnerable to dangers from space. Asteroids, comets, and other celestial objects hurtle through our solar system at incredible speeds. While most of these objects pose no threat to Earth, a collision with a sufficiently large object could have catastrophic consequences. The history of our planet is punctuated by asteroid impacts. The dinosaurs, for example, were wiped out by a massive asteroid impact some 66 million years ago. While such events are rare, they are a stark reminder of our planet's vulnerability in the vastness of space. The impact of a large asteroid would release an unimaginable amount of energy, equivalent to millions of atomic bombs. The immediate devastation would be unimaginable, but the long-term effects would be equally profound. Massive fires, tsunamis, and earthquakes would rack the planet. Dust and debris thrown into the atmosphere would block out the sun, leading to a global impact winter. While we cannot prevent asteroid impacts, we can prepare for them. Scientists are constantly scanning the skies, searching for potentially hazardous objects. If an asteroid on a collision course with Earth is detected early enough, we may be able to deflect it using kinetic impactors or other technologies. The idea is to change the asteroid's trajectory just enough to avoid a collision with Earth. This requires precise calculations and timely action. The sooner we detect a potential threat, the more options we have to mitigate it. International cooperation is crucial in this endeavor. Space agencies around the world, including NASA, ESA, and others, are working together to develop and test asteroid deflection technologies. These collaborative efforts are essential because the threat of an asteroid impact is a global issue that requires a unified response. In addition to kinetic impactors, other methods are being explored. These include using gravity tractors, which involve a spacecraft flying alongside an asteroid to gradually alter its path through gravitational attraction. Another concept is the use of nuclear devices to either deflect or fragment the asteroid. Each method has its own set of challenges and potential risks, but the goal remains the same: to protect our planet from a catastrophic impact. Public awareness and education are also vital. By informing people about the risks and the measures being taken to mitigate them, we can foster a sense of global responsibility and preparedness. Educational programs and public awareness campaigns can help demystify the science behind asteroid impacts and the efforts to prevent them. While the threat from cosmic objects is real, our ability to detect and potentially deflect these threats gives us hope. With continued advancements in technology, international collaboration, and public engagement, we can better prepare for and perhaps even prevent a future asteroid impact. The vast unknown of space holds many dangers, but it also offers opportunities for us to come together as a global community to protect our shared home.
Volcanoes are a powerful force of nature, capable of both creation and destruction. While most volcanic eruptions are relatively minor, some eruptions are powerful enough to have global consequences. These super eruptions are rare, but their impact can be felt for years or even decades. Super eruptions are characterized by the massive volume of material they eject into the atmosphere. This material, including ash, gas, and aerosols, can block out the sun, leading to global cooling. The eruption of Mount Tambora in 1815, for example, caused the year without a summer, leading to widespread crop failures and famine. The impact of a super eruption would be felt around the world. Air travel would be disrupted, economies would be impacted, and food security would be threatened. The long-term effects on climate and ecosystems are difficult to predict, but could be severe. While we cannot prevent volcanic eruptions, we can work to mitigate their impact. Scientists are constantly monitoring volcanoes around the world, looking for signs of increased activity. This early warning system could give us time to prepare for an eruption and evacuate populations at risk.